Adam, give me the details.
Well, Chris, it's a shocking NFL trade, one of the most shocking NFL trades that we've seen in quite some time. A trade that a lot of people thought never would happen, now officially has happened. And Micah Parsons has been sent to the Green Bay Packers. Micah Parsons, one of only 2 players in NFL history to have at least 12 sacks in each of his first 4 seasons. The other, Reggie White, also who made a mark in Green Bay, which Micah Parsons now will have the opportunity to do. And essentially, Micah Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys, it was a negotiation that went south. Jerry Jones, the Cowboys owner, thought he had a handshake agreement with Micah Parsons in late March on a deal that would pay Micah Parsons an average of $40.5 million per year. But Micah Parsons said my agent had to review the contract and sign off on it, and the agent wasn't included in the negotiations. And from that point on, in late March and early April, the Dallas Cowboys and Micah Parsons never discussed a contract again. And this past week, the Dallas Cowboys began listening to trade offers. The Green Bay Packers were one of multiple suitors interested in Parsons. And this afternoon, Micah Parsons' agent used the leverage. David Melgetta used the leverage that he had to negotiate a 4-year, $188 million contract that makes Parsons the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. In an offseason full of pass rusher deals, Micah Parsons lands the biggest one of all with $136 million in guaranteed money. He now goes to the Green Bay Packers. The Dallas Cowboys get back 2 first-round draft picks and defensive tackle Kenny Clark. These 2 teams, the Packers and the Cowboys, meet in Week 4 on Sunday Night Football. As if the season's not interesting enough, a week from tonight, the Micah Parsons-less Dallas Cowboys open their season in Philadelphia against the defending world champion Philadelphia Eagles. And now, back in February, we saw the Dallas Mavericks deal away a cornerstone franchise player in Luka Doncic. And now, months later, the Dallas Cowboys have done the same, dealing away a dominant pass rusher in Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers. Whoever would have thought in late August of 2025, Luka Doncic would play for the Lakers and Micah Parsons would be playing for the Green Bay Packers.
It is shocking. That fan base, Adam, you're right, has been brutalized by some really rough trades this year. Parsons, I know, came out the very 1st of August and said, I want to trade. And he's been showing up at camp, being on the sidelines, but has continually said, I wanted a trade. Jerry Jones said, don't lose sleep over this. I follow this as an Eagles fan, Adam, so I was very curious how this was happening. Did this negotiation or lack of a negotiation, did this get even more oddly personal than what Jerry Jones is typically known for?
The way it was described to me this past week was this issue and a deal for Micah Parsons was going to be Jerry Jones's Waterloo. And the fact that a deal didn't get done when he felt that there was a handshake agreement between the 2 sides back in late March was something that certainly sounded like it really irritated Jerry Jones. And the fact that there never was another offer exchanged from either side would tell you how Jerry Jones felt. He alluded to the fact that when he bought the Dallas Cowboys for $150 million, he didn't do it with a contract. He did it with a handshake agreement, a look in the eye, and the Dallas Cowboys belonged to him. But how's this for irony? Jerry Jones paid $150 million for the Dallas Cowboys in full. Today, the Green Bay Packers gave Micah Parsons $188 million, $38 million more than Jerry Jones once paid for the Dallas Cowboys franchise by itself. And this was something that did get personal. It's why Micah Parsons came out and publicly said he wanted to be traded, that he grew up a Dallas Cowboys fan, that he always wanted to wear the star on his helmet, but in the end, he no longer wanted to wear that star. He wanted to be sent elsewhere. He did that publicly. That was a little bit embarrassing for the Dallas Cowboys. And the Cowboys continued to insist they wouldn't trade their 4-time Pro Bowl linebacker. But in the end, this wasn't going anywhere. Micah Parsons was in California yesterday with back tightness, getting his back checked out. There were major question marks about his availability for the Thursday night opener in Philadelphia. The thought process was he wouldn't play. And I'll tell you how quickly this deal came together today between the Packers and the Dallas Cowboys. Kenny Clark, who was a part of the package that was involved in this blockbuster trade, practiced today with the Green Bay Packers. And it was only after practice that he found out that he was being traded to the Dallas Cowboys. If the Packers knew that this deal was in place or that it was going through, they would have held Kenny Clark out of practice. But that wasn't the case. He practiced and then was traded to the Dallas Cowboys. Kenny Clark has a game a week from tonight, Chris.
You know, I want to bring in John Isner. He can talk football as well as he could play tennis. Well, maybe not quite that great. But John wants to join us. He actually lives in the Dallas area, although he's not a Dallas fan. He's Carolina guy through and through.
Yes.
Jump in.
Yes. Well, I was brought to New York to talk about tennis, and now I get to live out my dream and talk to NFL with Adam Schefter. It's just pretty cool. You mentioned, Shefty, that there were some other suitors in the mix for Micah Parsons. I haven't checked your X feed lately. Who were those teams? And also, are we forgetting about the fact that Kenny Clark he's a Pro Bowler last year, was he not? And he's made the Pro Bowl before, and they're getting 2 first-round picks. That's a decent haul for Micah Parsons. Obviously, he's a generational talent, but Kenny Clark is a hell of a player himself.
Well, John, teams are very reticent about identifying who was and wasn't involved in trade talks. I can tell you that in talking with people this afternoon, when we reported that the Cowboys were listening to offers and that a trade could come together quickly, that there were multiple teams that had inquired about trading for Micah Parsons. I think the list was a little bit longer than people realized, but I think the Packers were a team that made sense, were aggressive, had the money, the cap space, and they were willing to do it all along. So in the end, it turned out to be the Green Bay Packers. I'd love to give you a list. I really don't know the full list of other teams that were bidding for Micah Parsons. I just know that, as I was told this afternoon, there are multiple teams involved in this. It's longer than you think, and the trade is more likely to happen than people realize.
Incredible. Look at the money they're giving him. Talk about having deep pockets. I mean, TJ Watt, 3-year, $123 million. This is a whole new standard, but it's the end of a Cinderella story that could have been down there in Dallas. I mean, Parsons grew up in Pennsylvania, went to Penn State.
Penn State, that's right, yeah.
Eagles fans all around him. He opted for the Cowboys, and it's ending like this. Adam Schefter, this has been a blast to welcome you in, breaking this news here at the U.S. Open. You've made big man's day over here.
Thank you, Shefty. I appreciate that.